you answer me one question?
Yeah, sure.
Could you give me your best?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Man, I love this franchise. In the last Rocky video, we took a look at the first entry in the series and dissected its themes about opportunity, adversity, and determination, as well as a story recap. In today's video, we'll be doing some of the same in terms of dissecting Rocky 2's core themes about redemption and perseverance, as well as the story and what it's really trying to tell. So without further ado, let's begin. Rocky 2 really is worthy of its namesake, as this movie truly is, in every sense of the word, a sequel to the first movie. And I mean this in the best way possible. A quick recap at the last movie: Rocky gets a shot to prove himself in front of the whole world and succeeds in going the distance with the champ. Now in this movie, we pick up literally right where the first movie left off. But now that Rocky got his shot and managed to prove to himself that he could go the distance, what is there left to explore in the character? Well, we see here that Rocky's journey is far from over. Even after going the distance, Rocky must stand toe-to-toe once again, as he faces many trials and tribulations after the fight. These problems are not only a test for Rocky's strength, but also his resilience as a person. We cut to Apollo declaring that he isn't done with Balboa yet, that this was a lucky shot and Rocky most certainly couldn't pull it off a second time. However, Rocky isn't a big fan of a rematch, with the family on the way and him just wanting to retire. But something interesting begins to happen on Apollo's smear campaign. Everyone actually starts to believe that Rocky was only a lucky nobody, that the fight was simply a lucky shot, and that he didn't have what it takes.
What was it?
But while all of this goes down, Rocky's facing yet another challenge entirely: money. Rocky realizes that the prize money he got from the first fight won't cut it forever, so he needs to get a reliable job that doesn't involve his face being used as a punching bag. But despite trying, no one seems to give him a break. And even when somebody does catch him a break, it's short-lived as Rocky is fired from the job. With this kid on the way, the odds are already high, even before getting to Apollo. With this in mind, Adrian picks up some part-time shifts at the pet store to soothe the money problems for now. But Rocky is clearly bothered by this, as he feels that he's failing not only as a husband, but as a father too. This scene builds on the first movie's characterization that Rocky is not one to lay down when trouble comes knocking. He doesn't like to feel useless or helpless in situations, and by letting Adrian work while she's pregnant, Rocky feels as that he is letting down himself as well as Adrian. If that wasn't enough stress, Apollo is now embarking on a smear campaign to lure Rocky back in the ring, not just for the fact that Apollo wants to prove to everybody that he's better, but to utterly humiliate Rocky so that his reputation is forever just the guy that got lucky. A sort of side theme that goes in tangent with Rocky's perseverance is Apollo's ego. Both this and the first film set up that Apollo is very much invigorated with himself. He believes himself superior to Rocky from the start, and this mindset right here is what I believe to be the driving force that helped Rocky go all the way in the first fight. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, we can assume that once Apollo's original opponent called off, he didn't really see it necessary to train as hard as he usually would, because he categorized this fight with Rocky as more of a show than an actual fight in his mind. His pride and overconfidence became his Achilles heel. This mindset is what led to Apollo losing the fight and putting in question his reputation as a fighter. I say lose even though he won on paper, but we all really know who won, But this theme here in this movie is more of a side theme compared to future installments. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Subscribe for that. Anyways, back to the main theme. Rocky's reputation is at stake. Everyone is questioning whether he only won because of luck. But as many of us philosophy nerds may remember, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. This held true in the first film, so what will Rocky do now? He comes back to Mick so he can begin his training. However, his first interaction with Mick adds yet another layer of self-doubt, as Mick tells Rocky he doesn't have it anymore, due to his bad eye he got from the first fight. Now, not only is the city questioning his skills, but now even his coach. This puts Rocky further into mental turmoil. Rocky can't live like this. He begins to question whether he can do it or not, so he has to find out. Rocky must at least try, like he did before. Except now his wife Adrian is worried about him, about his health, and what'll happen if he gets beat on harder than last time. This reluctance from Adrian acts like a pile of sand in Rocky's head and heavily impacts his ability to focus on training. As if the pressure wasn't enough, Adrian falls into a stress-induced coma after she delivers the baby. This moment right here is one of the main turning points for Rocky. How can he fight with all of what's going on? People turning on him, his own self-doubts, and now his wife in a critical state. This is the last straw for him. How can you possibly overcome these circumstances? I just imagine myself in Rocky's shoes, and these problems seem almost impossible to overcome. Understandably, Rocky uses his time to be with Adrian instead of training for the fight, putting his love for her before himself, his reputation, and anything attached to that. Which again is an interesting foil to Apollo's character, as in the first film and even this one, his career and self-image take precedence over his family.
You call yourself the champ, you're a fake. The fight was a fake, go kill yourself.
Wouldn't you rather play with the children than read hate mail?
How much did you get to carry that bum for 15 rounds? You're a disgrace to your people.
Why can't you ignore it?
Are you serious?
But, getting back to the main point, how would you personally deal with these immense pressures piling up on you? Thankfully for us and Rocky, Adrian wakes up from her sleep. Rocky, belated, tells Adrian that he doesn't have to fight Creed if she doesn't want him to, as she is infinitely more important than the fight. But her only response is,
"There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win."
What are we waiting for? Take this!
This is the other most pivotal moment in the film. Adrian's encouragement flips a switch in Rocky, as immediately he begins to give it his all in training again. This moment in the film, it's made clear to the audience that one of the major driving factors for Rocky's success is Adrian. Her approval and what she thinks of him is all incredibly important for him, as we see that in both movies so far. Despite all the insults, the verbal discouragement he gets from people around him, Rocky never lets any of that affect him as greatly as Adrian's opinion has. She makes him feel like he can do and accomplish anything, which is pretty beautiful, if you ask me. Another mental crutch you could say Rocky uses for motivation is obviously what he thinks of himself. As in both fights, it's never been about fame or proving to everybody that he can beat the champion, but rather proving to himself that he isn't just some guy, and that if he chose to do something, he can accomplish it. Again, philosophy nerds might recognize a pattern here, but that's besides the point. Having these sort of mental crutches, as Marcus Aurelius puts it, can be a great source of determination and discipline, as having your motives or state of mind rely on outside events or random people can be detrimental to your mindset, as obviously those things you can't really control. But if you put that trust into someone you truly love or deeply admire, it can sharpen you as one person can sharpen another. Anyways, we all know how the rest goes. Rocky trains his hardest with Mick. Fight time arrives and everyone is wondering just who really will come out on top. Through an even rougher battle than the first fight, Rocky manages to land the finishing blow on Apollo, but in turn losing his balance and falling with him. Eventually though, Rocky manages to get back up on his feet through sheer determination and perseverance, and Rocky Balboa shocks the entire world as the new heavyweight champion of the world. Man, let me tell you guys, this film is an incredible inspiration to me, as I assume to many of you guys also. Rocky 2 is an incredible story about perseverance, overcoming all odds life throws at you, and about self-worth, much like the first movie. I want to close the video with a question. Why is Rocky so inspirational to the common man? To all the underdogs, the has-beens, the little guys out there? Well, I could give you my opinion. I am personally inspired by Rocky, not only as a franchise, but as a character, because he's incredibly relatable. Not to be brash, but at the start, there's nothing remarkable about him. No special talents, no freaky sort of skills, no nothing. He's just like you and me, just some guy. However, that never stopped him. Rocky is a shining example that discipline and dedication beats talent every time, that all of us have some Rocky in us. Thank you all very much for watching today's video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If If you really liked it, subscribe for more Rocky and philosophy content. If you have a franchise or something in particular you'd like for me to cover in the future, let me know in the comments below. But I have been your introduction to Stoicism, and always remember, think like a Stoic.
And to all the Rockies in the world, I love you.